All right. Welcome to another episode of Scotty Talks NBA. It's a special edition today. Of course, we're on a Tuesday. It's not my normal Monday schedule. I am here with my buddy Dylan Davis of the Daily Dose. You guys know him from the Daily Dose. He's my buddy from Turf Talk, the show we just started, coming out of DSM Media. We are live from DSM Media YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe to that page. But if you guys don't already, please go follow me, Dylan, on Twitter. You can find Dylan at DylanJD98. You can find me, Scotty, at Scotty Drown. You can find a sports page at ST Philly Sports 1. Dylan, what's up, man? Welcome to the show, brother.
What is going on, Scott? It feels good to finally stream from DSM Media and get right into it. So, guys, please hit that subscribe button on DSM Media's YouTube channel. It is myself, Scott, and again, I know, very creative, Dylan, Scott, Matt. It's hard thought out. It took a long time to come up with that name, but please tap in there. Rob Motti's interview. There's that up front. That's up with Turf Talk, and there's a little snippet on his opinion and his thoughts on Jaylen Hurts this upcoming season. We had Vince Quinn last week. That's up on the page announcing that he believes he's picking the 76ers to win the NBA Finals outside of a miraculously healthy LeBron James. So a lot of good stuff. And this is just another piece of content to throw out there.
How about that, man? And what's up, Abe? Guys,
Abe.
Abe, honest Abe always shows up to the show. Gotta love Abe supporting the DSM Media channel there. Appreciate you, Abe. Shout out to everybody else that tunes in tonight. If you guys want to drop your comments in the comments section, whether you're on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, whatever the case may be, drop your comments in the comments section. We'll get you up on the screen here and we'll talk with you. That's the point. But we do got somewhat of an agenda here tonight. If you guys got other ideas you want us to talk about, please share them in the chat there. But what we're going to do, we're going to start out. We got to talk about Russell Westbrook.
Did a little bit of that yesterday.
Yeah, got tongue-tied there. But we'll talk a little bit about Russell breaking that triple-double record. Gotta shed some respect for Russell Westbrook, right? Like, we got to give him some type of respect out here. He gets disrespected way too often. We were going to talk about LeBron returning, but that was canceled. LeBron is not returning tonight.
No.
So what we'll get into instead is a little bit of the play-in tournament, see how you guys are feeling out there about that. And, any surprise teams from that play-in tournament that you think could, make some noise in the playoffs there. We'll talk about the Celtics, quick update on them. They obviously lost their star in Jaylen Brown for the season. And I got a special question. I don't know if I put that on the list for you, Dylan, but I wanted to talk about if the Bucks, if the Miami Heat could potentially beat the Bucks in the first. So that's something interesting to me. That's probably the best matchup, I would say, in the Eastern Conference in the first round. So that's pretty interesting. And then we'll finish it off with the Sixers and Pacers preview. Get you guys ready for tonight. We'll talk about the number one seed implications, and we'll finish off with some predictions. How tonight goes. Obviously, Embiid's out, so we'll be missing our MVP tonight, but we still should be able to take care of business there. So let's dive in. We got another comment from Abe. I definitely don't think the Sixers are going to make this easy for us fans tonight. It depends. Me and Dylan were talking about that before the game. We will get into the Sixers, towards the end of the show, but the Pacers are without a bunch of guys tonight as well. So I know we're without Matisse, we're without Korkmaz, we're without, Embiid, but the Pacers are missing some key studs out there as well. So let's dive right in, Dylan. First on the topics, man, Russell Westbrook. Overall, how impressed are you, one, that he somehow broke Oscar Robertson's record of all-time triple-doubles? And how exactly do you feel about his capability to be able to do this on like a season-to-season basis? Like, this isn't just one season averaging like a triple-double. This is, up in the third or fourth season that he's averaged a triple-double in the NBA. How big is that to you?
It's huge. So, no, I'm not really that surprised when, like you said, the dude has averaged the triple-double over the course of a season since it feels like I was in high school. And I'm a college graduate. So like it's been years now that it feels like Russell Westbrook has been averaging a triple-double over an 82 game, now 72 game season.
Right.
So it's incredibly like impressive. And I really don't think he gets respected enough for what he does. And I feel like a lot of people, he's so interesting to me because, you know, a lot of people call him a stat patter and the rebounds and all that, but he's had multiple games with like almost 20 assists or 20 plus assists this season. So I wouldn't necessarily call him that, but what it always comes down to, Scott, is winning, right? And winning will always be king over statistics in this league, and that's the knock on him. And there's some other guys out there, a la James Harden, who probably don't get as disrespected as Russell Westbrook does when it comes to, being so great and talented and all the production, but a lack of winning and a lack of championships to show for their success. So that's why he's polarizing, in my opinion, when it comes to NBA fans, because it's like I said, I just gave you a name that people are fearing this year, but why are you fearing James Harden this year? Fearing James Harden because of the team that he's on, right? Russell Westbrook doesn't get that fear. And, it's the type of player, perimeter, his perimeter game, his jump shot, everything like that. But I love Russ. I'm not gonna front to you. Like, obviously the Sixers are playing against him, screw you, Russ. Yeah. But like, I love him. And I remember, man, was it him and Harden season in like 2016? No, that was the Steph MVP. I forget what year it was when he averaged the triple-double, and did he win MVP or did he lose MVP? It was him and Harden all year long, and I was getting in so many arguments with people about Harden, and I'm like, dude, he's literally averaging a triple-double. Like, you don't respect that enough.
I was the same person in those arguments, in those conversations. I know for a fact that Russell Wilson, or I did it. I know for a fact that Russell Westbrook won an MVP one of the years that he was.
I think it was that year.
Triple-double. So yeah, to answer your question, I know that he definitely won an MVP with those numbers. But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, there. Yeah, was again. So yeah, he won when he averaged a triple-dub for the first time. So yeah, and I think he did it the very next season and didn't win MVP. And I think it's because, everybody was like, well, we gave it to him last year. You know what I mean? Like, no. But Westbrook is, you use the perfect term there, polarizing. And it's a similar thing that we see with Ben. It's these players that, their game isn't pleasing to the eye. So you're not seeing a bunch of jump shots falling, through the net, swishing through the net. It's not as pretty, but the thing about Russell Westbrook and even Ben Simmons, the difference, I guess, there is the fact that Russell Westbrook sometimes won't stop shooting compared to Ben, who just simply won't. But in a similar sense, they are effective in the same ways almost. So getting to the paint, getting to the rack, facilitating, obviously, defense and rebounding. It's not pretty. It's not Steph Curry, pulling up from 4 feet or
from the 10 lot.
Feet. Yeah, from the half court line. Like, it's not pretty. It's not, the most. I'm not even going to say it's not exciting, because Russell Westbrook is an exciting player when he is on and he's alive.
Right. It's not exciting. I remember he had a game earlier this year. He was like 4 of 26 from the field. And I was like, damn.
So that's not exciting. But the thing about Russ is he's good when you got another superstar with him. And I think you're starting to see that down the stretch here. Now that Bradley Beal, has been playing with him a lot, actually. And I was actually watching Bradley Beal. He was talking about, the kind of teammate that Russell Westbrook is. And, basically everything that's in the media is just so far blown out of proportion. Like, Russell Westbrook isn't this terrible teammate. I promise you, if he was a terrible teammate, he's not getting 20 assists in one game. Like, he's not passing the ball if he's a terrible teammate to these guys. Do you know what I mean? If he's so hard on these guys. So, all Bradley Beal was just, kind of complimenting him for bringing that energy every single game. And it's like, as a teammate, how can you hate on Russell Westbrook when he's coming out and putting up this production for your squad every night? And that was one of the things. I don't know if you remember that interview that Kevin Durant was on where he was talking about his favorite teammates of all time. And he left Russell Westbrook off of that list. And he said after the interview that he forgot. How the hell do you forget Russell Westbrook, who you spent the first half of your career, maybe 3/4 of your career with? Like,
that's why KD will always be a fraud.
Yeah,
always be a fraud.
Fraud, like Michael Rappaport called him out.
Yeah. Being the best player on that team that was up 3-1 on Golden State, and then you let. Did Russ leave? No, Russ stayed, right? Yeah. KD's the one that left after giving up that series lead to Golden State, right? To go join them. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I forgot for a second. Forgot the bad teammate stayed. Yeah,
right. Stayed loyal to small town Oklahoma City, right? Like, terrible person, Russ.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're gonna throw some respect on Russell Westbrook's name today. Broke the all-time triple-double, all-time record that was set by Oscar Robertson, and that is not a simple feat. That's going to give Russ into what would off the top of your head, where would you rank Russ all time? Is he top 50?
Man,
I know that's a hard question. Just off the top of your head,
I'd really have to go back and
think about it, right?
Do it, but
do you think he's top 50?
Damn, Scott.
Are we being disrespectful? I'm trying to measure.
Yeah, I can't even. I'm trying to think. Is that disrespectful to say no? Is it a reach to say yes? I'd really have to go back and lay out the list. But maybe he's in that late 40s range.
Gut instinct tells me, yeah. He is. Breaking the triple-double record, I think that it's got to hold a lot of weight, man. Right. He's doing everything. Right.
But like I said, the knock, I think part of the disrespect comes in because winning is king. And he's just, that's the one thing that's eluded him his entire career is a championship.
Yeah.
And especially I just brought up that 3-1, that 3-1 lead they had over Golden State. He was a leader on that team that blew that, and then he never really got back close enough after that because in Houston they weren't doing much.
Exactly.
And now in Washington we see how that's playing out. And after KD left Oklahoma City, he maybe won a series in the first round. I forget, but
maybe
that's the issue, right? So you know what? I'm glad that you brought that up, and maybe something soon to get creative. We'll actually dive into that and find out if he is top 50. It's crazy because it's can you think of 50 better players than Russell Westbrook off the top of your head? No. But if you go all time, because right now you got to think he's probably not even top 10 in the league right now this year.
Right. And that's a good way to put it.
So year after year, and obviously I know that there's guys year after year that are all in the same year, but you get what I'm saying. The decades of basketball, if he's not even top 10 right now, how's it play out in the top 50? So I definitely want to break that down more because I have no idea.
That's interesting. And the way you just broke that down, prompts me for something else, another question, and this isn't something you got to answer, but I'm just going to throw it out there, how many top 50 all-time players are in the league right now? You know what I mean?
For sure.
Okay. All right. KD, LeBron for sure.
All right, hold on. Let me try this.
Steph Curry.
KD, LeBron, Steph, Giannis.
Yeah, he's definitely there.
Harden, even though winning has eluded him. Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Probably Kawhi.
Yeah.
I know I'm missing more. Obviously there's a bunch of young dudes that'll be there. Ginn says he's top 40. So, dude, I'd have to really honestly go back and look at it, man.
I just don't want to say anything foolish. That's what I'm trying to avoid here. But what I will say, bona fide Hall of Famer in my book. So, we'll go that far, right? We'll call him a
that's the thing. Pull up that comment right there.
He is though. He is a top 50.
He's the most dominant big man in the league for how long?
Yeah. No, I agree, man. That's a great point. Yeah. So we'll kind of move on that note. That's a conversation for another day. We will revisit.
That is an off-season. That is an off-season topic.
For sure.
When we need some content to put out.
Exactly. So like I said, we were going to dive into LeBron returning tonight. Obviously, he's not returning against the Knicks tonight. So I guess I'll still throw you the question, and maybe it's even more relevant now. Do you think that there's a chance that LeBron could get in any type of rhythm before the playoffs start now?
As much as I dislike LeBron James, yeah. I mean, he's LeBron freaking James. I mean, I don't think it's going to take very long for him to come back in and dominate a game. But yeah, see, when did Oscar Robertson play basketball?
70s, 60s?
I think it was the 60s.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
He's definitely
and that's the thing, man.
Like on the Bucks.
Dude, I don't know. I'd really have to go back and look at it. No, Oscar has to be
top 50, right? He has to be.
It's always just so weird to me, like the evolution of the game and just humans in general. Like, could Oscar Robertson play in today's NBA?
I don't know. You know what I mean?
So that's the issue, right? So it's so hard to do all time lists, but that's a great point. But when it comes to LeBron, getting into a rhythm, yeah, I really don't think it's going to take much time at all. Yeah. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I agree again. And maybe that's what we will do just to keep 100%. It easy and create clarity. But yeah, LeBron, I'm with you. Take maybe a game. He's probably been working out hardcore off the court anyways, so I'm sure he's in shape. But yeah, I'm not going to doubt LeBron when it comes to the postseason. I'm not going to doubt LeBron, period. Because when he gets in the playoffs, somehow he always makes it to the finals. So I will not expect anything less until it happens. Now, with that being said, right now the Lakers are lined up with the Golden State Warriors.
Yes, they are.
Tournament.
Yeah.
And so the first question I'll throw to you, because I know how you feel about the play-in tournament, but if that was to be the matchup, what are the odds that the Golden State Warriors could beat the Lakers in that case? What does it take?
Yeah, it could happen. Look, dude, when you're playing, I'm not kidding. No, the Lakers are a much better team than the Golden State Warriors. But in one game, we're talking about a 1-game series. When Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, is on the opposite side, there is always a threat and always a chance you will not win that game. So yeah, of course, there's a chance that they're the 8 seed. Which, quite frankly, I said the other day on the Daily Dose that nothing would make me happier than if the Lakers somehow lost both play-in games and they didn't make the playoffs. I also can't stand the freaking Utah Jazz. So if the Lakers lost the first game, won the second, and they were the 8 seed and the Jazz had to play LeBron and AD, nothing would make me happier than that also, because the Jazz and their fan base just piss me the hell off. So, yeah, but when it comes to that first matchup, of course, there's a chance. I'm not predicting that it happens, but when you're looking at the guy who's, you can't see his head underneath my screen here in the bottom right corner, yeah, there's a threat that you're not going to win a 1-game series.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you there. And, the clip that Steph's been playing at lately anyways. So I think it's, of course, a possibility. So my next lob to you would be, first of all, if you just want to share your thoughts on the play-in tournament with everybody out there.
Of course.
I did have a couple listeners who wanted me to talk about the play-in tournament today. So the second question, this is a kind of a double-ended question. Out of the play-in teams right now, who do you think is the most dangerous? Is it the Warriors? What are your feelings on that as well?
All right, so first let me answer the second part. Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of them are dangerous in the sense. What's up, big dog?
What up, Brock? Thanks for tuning in, brother.
None of them are dangerous in the aspect that they can make a serious, deep postseason run. Like the Pacers, the Wizards, the Celtics. Oh, well, I mean, the Lakers, because they're in the play-in right now. So I guess that's the correct answer. But if you're going aside from that, Yeah, Golden State simply because they're the team that that could, like, you don't want to play Steph in the first round, if in my opinion. Not saying that they that the Jazz can't handle them, but
they have experience too.
Yeah. So that's where I'd go. And then when it just comes to the play-in tournament, man, I get it. Everyone's going to watch. I'm going to watch. It's extra playoff basketball, that playoff atmosphere, win or go home. So it's going to be exciting. Don't get me wrong. The NBA, it's all for revenue, by the way. It's all to get back that lost revenue during this pandemic. So that's what that's about. This kid never disappoints, man. But when it comes to after the revenue and after the free basketball, it is so stupid. It's so beyond asinine that, like, here's my layout for a play-in tournament, right? If there is a, let's say, 3-game differential between the 8 and the 9 seed at the end of a regular season, and you want to do a 1 game or a best of 3 series between the 8 and the 9 seed, if that gap is 3 games or less,
right?
That's great, okay? Because they're fringe, like they were right there at the end of the season. The freaking what does the 10th seed have a chance to? I know they have to win 2 games. Why do they have a chance to make the playoffs? That's making the playoffs less, like, special. Like, instead of one of 8 teams, now you're one of 10, and you get to, and if someone goes down at the end of the year at that 7 seed, maybe they lose the first game to the 8 seed, and now it's the 10 seed, you can get in. Like, don't get, like, it is really, really dumb in my opinion. Again, it's extra playoff atmosphere, basketball. We're all gonna watch it. And it could be very exciting because it's win or go home, right? But like when you think of the MLB playoffs, and they do that, they were doing that. I don't know if they still are. They were doing that 1-game wild card round. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. To get that final wild card.
Yeah.
That's exciting because the MLB playoffs are so small. So even that play-in game, you're still part of a small group making the playoffs. Okay. The NBA, the top 8 seeds already make it. It doesn't need to be extended to the 10th seed. And reversely, if you're the 7th seed, right? Like, let's say the West is stacked like it normally is, and it is right now, right? You're the 7th seed, and let's just say that you're 7 games over 500.
Like the Lakers.
Okay. I didn't even know that was the number, but sure. You're great.
8 games.
Okay. Right. And now you have to compete with maybe, now they could win the first game and be locked into the 7th seed, but you could lose the first game and fall to the 8th seed. You could, and the 8th seed could be a 500 team throughout the entire 72-game season. You could lose that game and then have to maybe play a 10 seed who's 8 games under 500. Like that. It's just, and it's win or go home. Anything can happen. Did you not witness the San Antonio Spurs absolutely massacre the Milwaukee Bucks last night?
Yes.
Anything can happen in one game. That's why, it can be exciting. But honestly, Scott, do you want a 10 seed getting in? No, because who would you rather have playing, the Phoenix Suns in round 1? The Los Angeles Lakers or the Memphis Grizzlies? If something went crazy and the Memphis Grizzlies. That's not fun. No, the Lakers-Suns 7-game series is the fun matchup to watch.
Exactly. And they're the ones that have earned it, right?
Exactly. You played a full season for a reason.
Yeah, that's my thing. And, I guess the way I'll phrase it, the play-in tournament sounds awesome until it happens, and then the Lakers just blow out the Warriors, but AD tweaks his ankle and can't play in that first round series, right? Like, everything is fun and it's entertaining and, more playoff games, more revenue. But it's like these guys play, once we get back to a regular season, unless they're going to, alter the season length again, if they're going to cut it down from the regular 82 season once we get back into regular basketball. But even 72 games, you play 70-plus games in a season to figure it out.
Yeah.
This isn't college basketball where they only play, 20, 25 games, 30 games in one season, and you get to the tournament and, you get a bad matchup and, March Madness. Like, this isn't that. This is the NBA. These guys play each other 4 to 5 times a freaking season, right? Like these matchups happen all throughout the season. You have plenty of opportunities to prove yourself.
Right. Now,
so if I'm a player, I would hate that.
Sure.
But if you're one of those fringe teams, you don't.
However, me and you can say that. If you're the guy slightly above your picture, shut the hell up, dude. Yeah, right there. Yeah, because you not a peep out of your mouth all year long when you're not part of that play-in. The second you slip to play-in because you're out. Now, it's an injury. I'm not saying he doesn't have an injury and he should be playing. I understand why LeBron's out and why they're struggling. But it's you're out. You're missing time. You fall to that play-in because your 2 best players are out. Whoever did that, whoever came up with this idea should be fired. Shut up. And not to mention,
voted on.
Yeah, we had Austin Krell on the show, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but Krell brought up the point that didn't the players sign off on this in the CBA? So where were you then? Oh, you're right. LeBron didn't say anything then because he never thought he'd be in a play-in tournament.
Exactly.
Now he is. Now that person should be fired. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Get the hell out of here, dude. I'm sorry. I can't stand it.
I agree, man. And you saw similar stuff from Luka, even the Mavs owner Mark Cuban, not complaining until you're in that situation. And the Mavs haven't said anything since, right? Because they're good now.
Yeah, it's all dandy in Dallas.
Right. So we'll move on from the play-in tournament. Don't want to spend too much time on the losers of the playoffs, right? We'll move on.
Get my blood pressure high.
Right. We got the next losers of the playoffs, though, because I'm going to let you know right now, the Celtics are done. Jaylen Brown, not out for the rest of the season, torn ligament in his leg. Those guys are done. But I did want to get your take on this. And we'll make this quick on the Celtics because I don't want to hurt any Celtics fans' feelings.
I will. Don't worry about it.
Is this just and I'm not talking about specifically to the Jaylen Brown injury. So first off, I want to make this clear. I don't ever wish any injury on any players, period. But what I want to ask you is this just lining up for the ultimate move of karma? If the Sixers play the Celtics in the first round, if they somehow fall to that 8th seed, whether through the play-in tournament, they might fall out of the playoffs, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But if they fall to that 8th seed and have to play us in the first round, us fully healthy, them without Jaylen Brown, a year after we were mocked for like an entire season,
Say that word again?
Mocked.
There you go. Yeah.
We were mocked for an entire offseason because we got swept. Yeah. Without Ben Simmons, with Al Horford and Brett Brown. Yeah. So we talked about that all offseason. Is this just the perfect line, just the perfect alignment of karma for them to, if they were to face us in the first round? How do you feel about that?
You're damn right. You're goddamn right, Scott. Let me say this. People in Boston didn't give a damn when Ben Simmons was out, right? Like you said it. We were mocked. Mike Scott. Jesus.
Let's go.
How does this happen?
Why?
Whatever. Let me get back. Let me get back to the Celtics, okay? People in Boston didn't give a damn that it was a COVID season, in a bubble without Ben Simmons. Yeah. They swept us. It's over, and there's question marks in Philly now. Heads are starting to roll. They didn't care that Ben Simmons was hurt, and I completely agree with you. I'm not wishing injury. It sucks for Jaylen Brown. He was having his, a career year so far in his young career. Okay. However, I don't feel 1 ounce of sympathy for Boston Celtics fans. Ask them if they felt any ounce of sympathy for us. No, they were, what you said, mocking the 76ers and their fans. And now the roles are reversed. So you're damn right. It's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm of karma for, last year we missed one of our top 2 players. Now they're missing one of their top 2 players. They've underachieved all year. The wheels are falling off. Marcus Smart just doesn't look right at all.
Yeah.
And that's a sweep. And I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you that if Jaylen Brown's healthy, no, that's not a sweep. And I actually didn't. Not that the Sixers wouldn't handle the Celtics because they have all year, and the Sixers are the better team. But I didn't want to play them in the first round. Without Jaylen Brown, that's a sweep. Dude.
Yeah.
They had no answer for Embiid, and now you don't have to worry about one of those perimeter threats. So you throw Ben on Tatum, throw Matisse on him, different looks. All right, maybe Kemba drops 28 one game on you, and they steal one game. Okay, no, that's it. So I will absolutely take Boston in a series right now, and I will enjoy every ounce and every moment of it because no one felt bad for the Sixers when they didn't have Ben Simmons and they were a mess and they were a 6 seed last year. I don't feel bad for the Boston Celtics when they're an 8 seed this year or not even making the playoffs. Okay.
Exactly. And, I guess the silver lining, if there is any for Boston fans, and maybe this was the silver lining for Sixers fans last year as well, is that before the injury, you guys just simply weren't that good anyways. You know what I mean? Like
you underachieved all year. So ask me how bad I feel for you.
So we'll move on from that. Screw the Celtics. You know what I mean? Prayers for Jaylen Brown. I hope you get well soon, man. Never like to see injuries, especially with great players. But we'll move on just real quick. I want to talk about Miami and the Bucks. If that matchup was to happen in the playoffs, the way it's lining up right now, it's looking like it's going to happen. Do the Miami Heat have any chance of beating the Bucks in that first round matchup?
Yeah. So, like I said, I had a conversation with my uncle the other day. I forget. I had a conversation with someone just about we've been talking about the importance of the 1 seed because what your road to the NBA Finals looks like compared to the 2 or the 3 seed is much different. So, if the Bucks have to play, if the Bucks have to play the Heat and then the Nets and then us, that's icing. That's the icing on top of the cake, right? However, I didn't think, and I still don't think that the Miami Heat were, what they were in the bubble. I think they caught lightning in a bottle in that bubble. I think Tyler Hero caught lightning in a bottle, and now he's untradeable, which is hilarious to me. Okay. And, I know that COVID has hit them all year, and don't get me wrong. I don't want to play the Heat in the first round.
Right,
I'm not saying that we would lose to them, but when you got to play Jimmy and Bam and they got some guys. However, I just think they greatly overachieved in the bubble and that wasn't them. I think they're better than what they are right now. They're somewhere in the middle, right? So can they beat the Bucks? Yeah. I don't expect it to happen, but and the question I'll throw back at you, Scott, is should we want it to happen? Because while it would knock the Bucks out as a competitor, then let's assume the Nets win because they're going to win the first round matchup.
Right.
Instead of playing the Bucks in the second round and letting them two beat each other up, the Nets get to play Miami, who they should handle. You know what I mean? So should we actually want the Heat to beat the Bucks? Probably not. And I said this yesterday to Gint and Mark. I'm honestly, I'm going to sit back and love every minute of these teams kicking the shit out of each other before they get to us, hopefully. But I'm not rooting for anyone to win because I don't want that. I'm not rooting for Giannis and the Bucks to beat the Nets because we want to play them more. And then we turn around and we're like, oh shit, like this is a different Bucks team this year, right? So I'm not rooting for anything like that. But to answer your question, it can happen. I don't think it will, and I don't think we should want the Heat to beat the Bucks.
And that's a great point, and that's kind of, it's kind of why I set it up like this, because it's going to segue right into us, potentially getting that number 1 seed tonight. But that is worst case scenario for the Sixers. If the Miami Heat winning in the first round, because you look at it, the Nets, if they win, they will not play the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are the 6th seed. So the Nets would play the higher seed, which would be the winner out of the Falcons, the Hawks, and the.
You're right. Wow.
They would play the winner of the Hawks and the Knicks.
I didn't even look at it that way. Yeah.
So that's worst case scenario.
So again, nor should we want them to win that matchup But yeah, I completely agree with
I
Phil
agree with
Hill.
Phil.
They definitely have the chance, but like you said, won't, but for sure could. And
Yeah.
that's a great dude. I literally didn't even think of it. Like I didn't pay attention to the seeding for a second, where the Sixers would get the lowest seed after the first round
'Cause you
matchup,
think it would be the
and
Blazers.
that would be Miami. Yeah, no, I'm good, bro. Giannis, take care of business in the first round, dude.
You look at those three teams that are in that bundle right there: the Knicks, the Hawks, and the Heat. The Heat are probably the best team. I know some people would argue the Knicks, but I'm not sold on them in the playoffs. Second round, like if they beat us in the second round, then well, knock on wood, man. You never know. But
I'm telling you right now, the Knicks will never. Oh shit! It's getting right there.
Reseed.
Is it bracket form now?
Yeah, explain, Gint, please, in the comments, please clarify.
Someone help us, because now.
Yeah, is it seeding or is it they don't reseed?
But anyway, I was saying the Knicks will maybe steal one game against the 76ers in a series.
Yeah, defense.
And I'm fully confident in that. The Atlanta Hawks will maybe steal one game against the 76ers.
Yeah. And that would just be them getting hot for a game, whatever.
What did Moses used to? That was Moses, right? Faux. I'm going. I'm okay with 5-5-5.
Yeah, same. And in the first round, if we get like the Hornets or something, then we need to go ahead and sweep them, take care of business.
Perfect matchup. Hornets are the team we play tonight. Is what I want.
Yeah, those
or Boston. Honest, I'm being dead serious with you. I just clowned the 10 seed being in the play-in and possibly making the playoffs. The 10 seed in the East is the team that I don't want to play. Again, I think the Sixers would sweep them and beat them in 5. But when I think Sixers achieving the 1 seed, which is a great achievement in the regular season, right? Because it hasn't happened in 2 decades. I don't think Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal in the first round. I think what you just said, Charlotte Hornets, Indiana Pacers, who are imploding at the moment. That's who I think as a first-round matchup. Not these two that are hot right now. But again, the anticipation's killing me, dude. Can you get with it here?
I actually just looked it up. So the NBA, once the playoffs start, the bracket is fixed. Teams are never reseeded, unlike in the National Football League, where the strongest remaining teams face the weakest teams. So that's
really
cool, man. I did not know that, honestly. I did not know that. So it won't matter that much. Now the kicker, I guess, would be that you want the Nets to play the Bucks in the second round. The tougher matchup, you would assume.
Yeah.
But
I'll sit back.
If they can beat the Bucks, and obviously, it would be a tough matchup for the Nets too. So.
I'll sit back with Gint with a Corona Light and watch those two teams kick the shit out of each other in the second round, and wait for the winner at Broad Street.
I just wanted to follow up with Abe, man. Good question, because if watch parties is what you guys want, then watch parties is what you guys
man.
want. So let us know what you guys want us to do on this show, on this channel.
Yeah.
We got options. We're running this channel however the hell we want to, and we'll do whatever the hell the listeners want. So just let us know. Keep us up to date, and we will adjust. That's for sure. So if you guys want watch parties, we can definitely do that this postseason. We'll finish it off tonight. This is perfect segue. We're running into the Sixers game here soon. Got about 8 minutes left. Oh, we got a question here. If Harden isn't back, who is the tougher matchup, the Bucks or the Nets? Whew. That's a great question, Phil.
Damn it, Phil.
Question. We were about to move.
I like the lobs. No.
Yeah, we'll leave the last 5 minutes for the Sixers and Pacers matchup.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the 1 seed. I want you to answer this question, Dylan, because it's a very good question. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate you for this.
So I love this question because it doesn't just go with the general ideology of 99% of people in the NBA who just, when the Nets are healthy in the playoffs. Oh, well, they haven't been outside of like 7 games since January where the 3 have played together. So I love that he's taking one guy out of the equation, which could very well be the case here. Yeah. I guess I agree. I agree, man. I think as a three-headed monster, I'd rather play the Bucks because I do like the way the Sixers match up with the Bucks. I like the way the Bucks match up with the Nets, right? Yeah. But if Harden's out of the equation, their defense sucks. They have absolutely no rim protection and no answer for Joel Embiid already. and you take James Harden out of the equation, now you just have to stop KD and Kyrie. And I know I sound kind of stupid saying you just have to stop KD and Kyrie Irving, but that's a whole hell of a lot different than the three of them. Yeah. And would you rather have to stop no defense, no answer for Joel Embiid, and the two of them? Or would you rather have to play Giannis? They do have some rim protection. They play great defense, and they have some other guys who can be mismatches for the Sixers on the offensive side. And I honestly think Brooklyn plays better against Ben. I think Milwaukee defensively is a tougher matchup for Ben than Brooklyn is for Ben in the half court on offense. Yeah. So I'm going to agree with Phil. I think if they're all healthy, I like the way we match up with Milwaukee rather than having to find a way to stop all three of them. Yeah. If it's only two of the three, I'm going Bucks. But Mark Henry has been saying it on my show and all over, and I kind of agree with him, man. I think the Bucks match up perfectly with the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. And I'm not so sure the Brooklyn Nets are the matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals with the 76ers if we get there. It could very well be the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah,
and just to kind of follow up on that, I think if Harden isn't healthy, the Bucks probably will win that series.
I agree.
Harden would probably equal the playing field, and then I would probably take the Nets, barely. I would still think it's 6-7 game series to play. But yeah, I'm with Phil here. I would 100% rather play the Nets if they don't have Harden, and rather than the Bucks. My question to you, I guess I would flip it back, would be, who's more intimidating? When you take away the other stars out of Giannis and Kevin Durant, the unstoppable force, right? Like who would you rather run into out of those two?
Out of Giannis and KD?
Yeah. And they're, respective teams, but let's just, try to forget about the other superstars on the team. If you got a team centered around KD and a team centered around Giannis, who would you rather play against?
I'd rather play Giannis. He's the back-to-back MVP. He's a freak of nature, and he has the ability to drop 40-plus on you. But I'll double down on that, dude. I know KD's coming back from injury, but if you're building a team around him, Kevin Durant, to me, is one of the greatest. He's up there for greatest offensive player to ever play this game. And I've watched this man this season after injury drop. Yeah, and then that goes along with it. But I've watched KD drop over 30 on I think he missed 2 shots, or 3 shots. He's so gross, dude. So 100% I'd rather run into Giannis in the playoffs. But again, I'm not rooting to run into anybody. Yeah. I'm not doing that. I don't want that bad karma. I'm not going to be that asshole that's, we want the Bucks to beat over the Nets, and we want the Bucks. No.
The other thing I'd point out, and you kind of pointed this out yourself, was, when the Bucks play the Sixers, I mean, they got somebody in Drew Holiday that can guard Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. It's crazy to say that.
Yep.
But Drew Holiday is one of the best perimeter.
No, and I'm not going to lie to you. For whatever reason, Brook Lopez gives the big fella a little bit of issues.
Brook Lopez, man, he's so annoying.
He gives him a little bit of it, and he'll drop 8 threes in one of the games in the 70s.
At least one of the games he will hit 5+ threes, and they'll win that game because of the hot shooting. I'm
don't get me wrong. I'm not coming at this saying I don't want to pick because I don't want to play either. I'm not bowing down to a goddamn thing in this postseason run.
Either one fully healthy, we can beat either one.
And but I'm not gonna root on one over the other to play, and then we turn around and lose one of the two in Philly in the first 2 games, and now we got to go back to Milwaukee tied up, and it could very well be 3-1 in a second. So yeah. So I guess, look, man, we are getting close. It's not going to tip off at 8, so we do have some time here.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time here.
Yeah,
so we'll dive into the Sixers-Pacers matchup. First things first, I do just want to get your, kind of your understanding or your level of comprehension as far as how big is it for the Sixers to win the 1 seed tonight, and not specifically tonight, just to win the 1 seed in general. knowing they only need one more win to secure it. And then the back end of that question that I'll throw you as well is, if the Sixers do win tonight, lock up the 1 seed, are you resting your starters the rest of the games?
All right, so the 1 seed is everything. It is everything for the reasons that we've talked about for all show long and that I've been talking about for the last 3 weeks. Is you get that 8 seed matchup, you get winner of Knicks Hawks, it's looking like, okay? Reversely, you drop out of that 1 seed, you get one of the Nets or the Bucks in the second round. Just to get to the other one in the Eastern Conference Finals, just to get to the NBA Finals, which is the ultimate goal here, right?
Right.
It's everything. Not to mention, we haven't spoke on this, 50% capacity is coming and will be there for the first round. And if they make a run, it will get to 100% capacity, probably around the Eastern Conference Finals time. So you know what that arena will be like, and it'll be hell for people to come play in, right? So it's everything this year, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was the second half of that question?
So the second half was just, if they win tonight, are you resting your starters all the way, or are you kind of just playing them minimal minutes? Trying to keep that
I'm not resting them all 3 games. I don't think you can do that. Again, that being said, if Joel Embiid, knock on wood, Ben Simmons, knock on wood, Tobias Harris, knock on wood, suffered an injury in one of those 3 games, and we already had the 1 seed, we're going to be screaming. We're going to be screaming at Doc Rivers, what the hell are you doing? But you got to remember, there's like an extra week just before the playoffs start because of the play-in tournament and all of that, or like 5 days or to a week or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you're taking on these extra 3 games, which is probably like 5 or 6 nights, 6, 7 nights. So to me, that's too long to be out of game shape. Yeah. So what I'll say is, if they won tonight, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't play anyone in Miami. This is the Dylan Davis way. I'm not playing anyone in Miami simply because I can't stand our freaking fan base. And God forbid we could lock up the 1 seed tonight, Scott. And God forbid we play our starters in Miami on Thursday and we lose to Miami. The world's falling apart again. And we'll already have the 1 seed locked up. So I'm sitting everyone in Miami. Let Miami can kick our ass. Whatever has to happen. Against the Magic, I believe they're both at home. I could be wrong, but I think they're both at home. Yeah. I would play the first game. I would play them like the first half. The second game, I'd play them like the first quarter, maybe a little of the second quarter, and that's it. But then that's a joke. It's just simply all for the fan base, how the world will come crashing down if they lose to Miami, even if we already have the number 1 seed locked up in the bag. You can't. I know everyone wants that rest. I don't think you can rest them all 3 games plus that time off between the first round. So, yeah.
So I completely agree with you. If you had to, if I get it, you worry, with the injury history of Joel Embiid, but the simple truth is that, injuries can happen at any point, any game. It can happen the first game of the playoffs. So, knock on wood. I mean, it can happen at any time. So we can't, sit here and be afraid. The other thing that we have to keep in mind is exactly what you said. You have a guy in Joel Embiid who, kudos to him this season, has really got himself in great shape. He's in probably the best shape of his career this year. Let's not stunt that, by taking,
Not to mention he's sick right now, apparently.
Yeah, and he's sick on top of it. So he may end up resting anyways, but, voluntarily resting him, a guy who has struggled with conditioning in the past, not a very good idea. No. You're looking at teams now. I know we haven't missed as much time as, say the Brooklyn Nets, the Miami Heat of the world, as far as our starters, but you would want to see them come out there the final 2 games of the week. I would agree.
It's week 2 and 3 of the NFL preseason for me. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Play them in the first quarter, the first half, keep them in game shape, keep the chemistry rolling a little bit, get your rotations down. But they're not playing in the second half because there's no need. If you're the 1 seed locked up, and like I said, you're completely right. Injuries can happen at any time. It could happen in the first game of the playoffs, and we're screwed. So blah blah blah. God forbid Joel Embiid's on the floor in the fourth quarter in the second to last game against the Orlando Magic and he hurts his knee.
Yeah.
No, that's unacceptable. There's no need for that.
Exactly, man. So we'll finish off here. I just want to get your prediction on tonight. We're looking at the Pacers. We talked about it earlier. The Pacers don't have T.J. Warren. They don't have Malcolm Brogdon. They're missing Jeremy Lamb. They're missing Miles Turner. Joel Embiid is out tonight. Matisse Thybulle's out. Furkan Korkmaz is out for the Sixers. So Ben and Tobias should play tonight. I think we get Seth Curry back from last.
He's playing.
He didn't play last game, right?
Yeah. All it is Matisse, Furk, and Joe are out.
Okay, so we get Seth back this game. Danny's going to be out there. Everybody except for Joel and Korkmaz and Matisse, of course. Who gets the W tonight? Do we lock up the 1 seed? Do we keep the Sixers fans at ease, at least for tonight, and lock this thing up once and for all?
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. The 1 seed is coming to Broad Street tonight by 10 o'clock, 10:30. The 1 seed will be the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm standing firm on that. The Pacers, if we didn't have Embiid and Tease and Furk, and the Pacers had everybody, yeah, I'd be like, well, and they weren't falling apart internally. I'd be like, yeah, on the road, this is a tough game. I don't know. They're not playing anybody, dude. I know they still have Sabonis. They still have Levert's playing, I believe. So, so they still have some guys. Doug McDermott will probably have like 28 tonight and knock down like 6 threes. But that it won't mean anything. So the Sixers win, and I just want everyone to know, guys, the NBA is not an easy league to play in, right? And we need to stop. And this is my message to a different fan base, because I said this on the Daily Dose yesterday, Scott. The bad teams in this league are not the process 76ers, and I don't think people understand that. So while I understand only winning by 2 points against the New Orleans Pelicans and looking sloppy, I was there. I saw the flaws 9 rows from the floor. I get it. I was pissed off at they won the damn game by 2. You know that San Antonio Spurs team that we only beat by 2? Oh, my God, the Sixers only beat them by 2. The Milwaukee Bucks just got trounced by them last night, correct? That same Spurs team. And the Bucks were fully healthy, by the way. So I don't want to hear it. They're on an 8-game win streak, and 6 of the 8 wins have been by 12-plus points. They set a franchise record for margin of victory over 3 games after getting beat by the Milwaukee Bucks that weekend. And I get it. They have flaws. There's some negatives to take away from game to game. There always is. But stop with the freaking nonsense. It's like winning isn't good enough anymore for the Sixers team. It's like since they're finally in control of the East, they're the number 1 seed this year. It's like now we have to be dominant over everybody. It doesn't work that way. So for all you people that saying they only beat the Spurs by 2 points, the Spurs just mauled and tore apart a fully healthy Milwaukee Bucks team who just beat the Brooklyn Nets twice last week. So stop. Did they win the game? Yeah. So like Gint said earlier, if they beat the Indiana Pacers tonight and lock up the 1 seed, I don't want to hear how Ben Simmons only had 12 points tomorrow.
Yeah. Who gives
I don't want to hear it. I can't take it. Dude. I can't take it anymore.
Like, do you think fans back in like 2001 were, talking,
no,
man, we're not going to win shit with Eric Snow and George Lynch. Like,
no.
You know what I mean? Like, were people saying that? No, you enjoy the ride.
This is the greatest Sixers team I have ever seen in my entire life. They are 26 games over 500, I believe. They have a chance, if things go the way they should in the Final Four. Now, I don't know who they rest, to win over 50 games in a 72-game season. A 50-win season is quite an accomplishment in a full 82-game season. They're going to do it, or have a great chance to do it, in a 72-game season. They're finally the number 1 seed for the first time in 2 decades. They have 2 top 5 defensive player of the year candidates. They have an MVP candidate. Tobias Harris is averaging over 20 a night. And we're still finding ways to complain. Yeah. It's unbelievable. So guys, please get on the same page before the playoffs, because I'm going to need to drink heavily if I'm having to hear how Ben Simmons only had 10 points, but they swept the Indiana Pacers in the first round, or they swept the Charlotte Hornets. But Ben didn't have more than 15 in a single game. Who cares? Who cares?
Just enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy the ride. We're going to have, Sixers home court basketball in the playoffs.
With full capacity soon.
Full capacity soon.
Guys, tailgating is back. You can drink in
we're
the parking lots.
We're
Be
gonna
happy.
Be sloppy out in that parking lot, boy. DSM Media. You might catch us live streaming from out in the Wells Fargo Center parking lot. If these
that's
guys
on the Twitch account. That's the adult site for DSM.
You got to follow us on Twitch, man. That's where we're gonna do all the adult, X-rated, R-rated.
Yeah, there you go.
Beer, liquor is down. We're gonna get on there drunk.
Speaking of Twitch, guys, go follow us on Twitch at DSM Media because we'll be live on there tomorrow night after the NFL schedule releases after 8 p.m. And we'll talk about the NFL schedule as a whole, the Eagles schedule. Little piece that I sent to Scott earlier. The Eagles have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL this year, only playing 5 teams in the 17 games that made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So, I've been very down on them. Maybe they overachieved because the schedule is just not very good.
Hey.
So follow us on Twitch and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Come out. That's right, though, Dylan. Guys, be sure to make sure you are following DSM Media, Turf Talk, Scotty Talks, Daily Dose, Dylan, following all
Get
of
that
us.
comment up.
To everything. There we go. DSM tailgate.
I'm telling you right now, I'm getting to a first round matchup. Scott's been talking about it. Gint wants to go. Me and Brock wants to go. So Brock, if you're still watching, Brock's coming out.
Yeah. So we're gonna have it all at the DSM tailgate during the playoffs. With that being said, obviously I'm not some rich guy, but I'm gonna try to make it to each round if I can. I'm gonna look at the release. It probably won't happen, especially the Eastern Conference. Once you get into that type of stuff, it's going to be ridiculously crazy.
But I'll tell you what, as long
still
as the
might
Sixers,
be out there tailgating. So
my goal is for us to get to a first round matchup.
Yeah.
And past that, depending on prices, because we are not some rich guys. We don't have any income from this, guys. We do this for fun. So if it gets past the second round or to the set late in the second round, maybe me, Gint, Scott, whoever, we get together, we get a little setup going with a camera, and we have a live watch party together. Not just by ourselves, sitting in our rooms or in our living rooms with the computer camera on. So we'll see. We'll have some fun with it, but you have to follow the Twitch channel, guys. DSM Media. Very simple. Same as here.
Got to. Great ending segment there, Dylan. We plugged every single thing that we could. We've given you guys every opportunity to tap in and lock it in, turn those alerts on. Just like Dylan said, while you're subscribing, while you're following on Twitch, make sure you're subscribing on YouTube as well. That's where you'll find some of our other content. But like we said, we're going to be bringing live streams to Twitch, and that's where a lot of our content's going to be. But that's going to be it for the show tonight, guys. Be sure to follow my man Dylan at DylanJD98. Be sure to follow me, Scott, at Scotty Drowned. Be sure to follow the sports page at ST Philly Sports 1. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for the DSM YouTube page tonight that we're going live on. And tune in tomorrow night after the schedule release of the NFL. We will be live with Turf Talk on DSM on Twitch. Give it a follow. That's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.